What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to Liverpool Latest. I'm your host, Matt. I appreciate you joining me today. I got a couple things I'd like to talk about. It seems as though frustration is running rampant, not just in the fan side of the Liverpool camp, but also the players are showing frustrations, but they're also showing frustrations against the wrong people. Plus, I have some women's news as well, some quotes from Zara Shaw after her goal in the FA Cup quarterfinal. And I have a new date for the latest fixture there. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the fan frustration when it comes to Liverpool and the fans' perception of management, ownership, players on the field. It seems as though that there has been a consistent trend of fans starting to turn on basically every aspect of the club. Now, don't get me wrong, there are fans that still love the club. I am one of those people that show my frustration but still love the club. And I think that's where most fans probably are at right now. But I saw a piece today that goes to show just how much the fan frustration has grown over the course of the last season, from winning the title to basically being at an all-time low since I've been a fan of this team. It's a real rough spot we're currently in. The pressure is in fact real, and the patience that all of us collectively have is starting to wear very, very thin. And of course, the main conversation is surrounding the whole idea of Arne Slot being sacked or not. Now, I don't hide it. I don't sugarcoat it. That's my job here on the show. I am in the camp of Slot out. I have been for quite some time. I've tried to give the benefit of the doubt, given certain factors, injuries, death of players, team morale in regards to those things. But the more I watch what I see on the field, the more I feel personally that Arne Slot is not the guy to get the job done. And it just goes to show the results that we're getting. The results have clearly not been well. We'll keep referencing this until I'm blue in the face. I think we've had 10 losses this season. We haven't had that many in quite some time. I think the most we had for the last few years was maybe 5, 6 at most. And even then, some of them probably didn't need to be that high. But regardless, we went from consistently having great performances with Jurgen Klopp for many years, titles. And I hate to make this comparison because it's not a fair comparison to make. And I feel like that's where a lot of us are getting caught up in this, is that history tells us that we were at one point in time a great club that won games, got 90 points a season, so on and so forth. And now that we are seeing a significant downturn, I don't think any of us can truly handle it the way that we had hoped, especially new fans who are used to this sort of thing like I am. Now, I've been dealing with disappointment from my sports teams my entire life, but there comes a day where you finally see one of those teams win a championship, and now all of a sudden your head gets big, your expectations become bigger, and you want more than what you are getting week in and week out. It's not just a results thing, though. It's how they are losing. And I feel like that is where the most of the frustration is coming, is not just in the result, but how that result is coming to be. The quality of play on the field is not there. And the individual that wrote this article that I'm referencing to you now is made some very good points of which I've been blue in the face in talking about. So I don't want to harp on it too much because there's plenty of videos of me going more in depth of it than ever. But at the end of the day, for me, there is no one on this team at this point in time, regardless of how good or bad of a season they're having, that is absolved of any criticism. Everyone on this team should be criticized in some way, shape, and form fairly, and it should not be based on personal attacks. And that's the problem that we are reaching now, is that the fans are now resulting to personal attacks of the players, the coaches, the ownership, so on and so forth. I might have been guilty of that on occasion as well, with my frustrations with Arne Slot specifically, maybe calling a couple of names here and there, but it's mostly, but I'm not going around saying that, his family sucks, so on and so forth. Some people are taking it to a level that's very uncomfortable, and I implore you that we should all at least not let the frustration get us to a point where we are sending death threats to these individuals, because I think in some regards that is where this is going, and that is not cool at all. So regardless of how frustrated we are, we should not be resorting to that. Much like the players on the field should not be resorting to jaw-jacking with the away fans who traveled and paid good money to travel and see their favorite team get absolutely obliterated in enemy territory. It seems as though Dominic Szoboszlai is the recent guilty party of this, and I saw an opinion piece that kind of detailed some of the things that happened with Dom, and I am not lying to you. I'm a bit disappointed in that behavior from Dom. I think, considering that he's probably been the more consistently good player on the team this season, I would expect more from him, especially when many fans are harping him to be in a leadership position. But it seems as though the frustration that the fans are showing is also translating to team frustration. And if you ask me, that frustration is being directed towards the wrong people. It seems as though Szoboszlai was doing, again, some jaw-jacking to the fans, I don't know exactly the whole thing because I haven't seen the full clip, but I saw Federico Chiesa was holding him back from making a fool of himself, which is a good teammate move on Fedi. But yeah, man, I think Dom's got to be better in that regard. I understand that he's disappointed. And I think it's a disconnect in some regard. The fans are feeling that, hey, we support you, but you don't perform. And the players are taking it as we're a struggling team and the fans are turning on us. When in reality, I feel as though, to me, the team is doing the one that's doing the turning. If they're struggling, I get that they're struggling, but at some point in time, you got to find a way to make it work. And week in and week out, I'm seeing the same old stuff, the same old quotes, the same old style of play. It's like no matter what they tell us, it's the definition of insanity. Doing the same exact thing, expecting a different result, and we more often than not do not get the result that we want out of it. As a matter of fact, it is much of the same, where it's poor draws, losses, humiliating losses at that, especially the ones against City. So I think the players are taking it as the fans are turning on them, booing them off the field at Anfield, booing them off the field away, chanting sacked in the morning to Slot, so on and so forth. I get it. From a mental standpoint, it's going to get to them eventually. But is it the fans turning on us, or is it us, the fans, turning on you because, whatever reason? It's really because we're angry at you. We're upset that the product you are giving us, that we know you could be better in, is not changing. It's not getting any better. As a matter of fact, it's only getting worse, and it's been more than evident of that, and it's becoming frustrating, again, to us to watch. But instead of trying to fix the issue, you then fight back with us saying, hey, why are you turning on us? This is bullshit, like, fuck you. Meanwhile, we're the ones paying good money to pay your salary, more or less, and here you are poorly performing on the field. So this is a very emotionally driven article that I am referencing. Clearly, this person who wrote it, who is, I believe, let me just make sure I get the name correct here. Where am I missing? Okay, James Finlater. He is the content editor at Liverpool.com, or at least the news for Liverpool.com, not the official Liverpool website. He's very much writing this as an opinion piece. He's very frustrated. He's very disappointed in Szoboszlai, as am I. But you have to understand, right now we're in a very toxic relationship. We're angry. They're angry. We're fighting. We're butting heads. But I feel as though the anger is not being directed to the right people. We are shouting our anger to players when it really should be directed more towards ownership to make the proper change that they need to make going forward. I hope that they do that, because they have a very tall test in just a few days here against PSG. That said, one team that is doing relatively well for themselves right now, or at least performing better given the issues they have had earlier in the season, is the women's team. And I did a very good job harping on this in the last episode of the show. Now I kind of want to touch on Zara Shaw specifically, because it was her goal that basically gave them the edge to move on in the Women's FA Cup. She's had a very difficult personal and professional period in her career, having, just gotten off an injury, it seems, and then having scored that goal is an absolute phenomenal thing. And the craziest thing about all of it is that I believe she's like 18 years old. She's a very young woman, right? So having to deal with so much adversity is a very tough thing for any young athlete at that age. I mean, that's why I kind of give younger athletes in NBA, NFL some grace when they fuck up, or when they suffer through adversity, because it's like they don't know how well adjusted they are to the big leagues yet. Dealing with injuries in, school, college sports, that's one thing. That's something that you can eventually handle as time goes on. But when you're actually getting paid to perform, and your paycheck and your contracts rely on what you do as far as performance for a team, which is essentially a business. We are now at the point in your career where sports is not just academic, it is a business. So companies as big as Liverpool or teams in New York and California, so on and so forth, that have massive amounts of money, they are now going to look at you as a cog in the wheel, and is that cog performing as well as they should, or does it need to be replaced to fit something better, the latest model, so to speak? So, thankfully for Zara Shaw, this goal for her was a very big psychological boost for her that was bigger than the goal itself. Definitely helped her with her confidence. She would go on to say, and would help in the sense where the team, which is already having its own squad depth issues over the course of the season, is kind of putting it together a little bit better than the men's team is at this point in time, or at least from my perspective of what I'm watching and reading online with each passing day, comparing the two teams that we see on the field. So it's good that she's becoming more and more a reliable rotation option, and she's definitely potentially going to be a regular contributor when it comes to big games, which goes to show, which goes into my final point here, the next FA Cup fixture for the women's team, which will be taking place about a month from now, on Sunday, May 10th, the women's team will be facing Brighton in a home match in the Women's FA Cup. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we beat Brighton relatively recently. Or that I'm confusing it with the men's team. But all in all, normally when it comes to facing Brighton, we do relatively well. I am not necessarily super concerned, I should say, with us facing Brighton. That said, Brighton did beat Arsenal away from home in their own right in a 2-0 victory. So I don't know what it's going to take for the women to beat Brighton. I hope they do. we have a month to determine that. Of course, we have plenty of games along the way for them in the Women's Super League conference, or whatever they call it. With the Women's Super League, I guess is what they call it. But yeah, more fixture updates will be coming over time in the next month, and I'm excited for this match for the women. I think Gareth Taylor has been putting together a bit of a sleeper team in recent months since the January window. The effort on the field has been clear as day that they are certainly trying to get out of the funk that they found themselves in the first half of the season. So we'll see if this results in a finals appearance for the women's team, which is certainly more than what the men's team has achieved at this point in time. Nobody has hope for the men's team. If I was you, I would probably put all of my chips and all of my stock. If I had money to bet, I would spend it on the women's team right now to pull out some form of a miracle to save what was at one point a very fleeting season. So May 10th is the date for the semifinals for the FA Cup women's division, and we'll be here on Liverpool Latest to talk about it, win or lose. So thank you so much for joining me today on the show. I appreciate you being here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more news. I appreciate it very much. Fan Arch appreciates it very much. And remember, when you join the Liverpool Latest family, know that you, my friend, will never walk alone. I will see you guys on the next one.